Hello, listeners. I'm Timstradamus, and it's Monday. And with me, as always, is my talented and beautiful co-hostess, Voyse.
Good morning, Timstradamus, and welcome to all listeners to Monday, where it's a state of mind. So put up your positive pants and let's get things done.
Voyse and I enjoy reading and talking about stories from the internet that are interesting, funny, and dramatic. Because of our love of stories, we've come together and created this channel to share with you those experiences.
And hopefully give you some food for that.
Well, my people-pleasing Libras, it's your turn today.
Hey there, Libra. Get ready to boogie your way through June with style and flair. This month, the cosmic dance floor is calling your name, and it's time to unleash your inner dance floor diva. So put on your party shoes, because this month, it's all about finding the perfect groove. In the professional arena, you'll be in high demand. Your diplomacy and creative finesse will be your secret weapons to navigate any work situation with ease. Collaborative projects will be like an electrifying dance routine where your ability to find common ground shines through. Keep an eye out for exciting opportunities that can boost your success and financial prosperity. Strike a balance between responsible spending and treating yourself to something special. After all, life is a party. Love takes center stage this month, and your heart is ready to dance to the rhythm of passion. If you're in a committed relationship, it's time to turn up the heat and reignite the flames of romance. Single Libras, get ready to hit the dance club of love. A new connection may sashay into your life, bringing laughter, sparks, and a contagious sense of joy. Your social life is in full swing this month, and it's time to let your vibrant personality shine. Surround yourself with friends who uplift and inspire you. Embrace new experiences that expand your horizons and nurture your personal growth. Try a new dance style, join an organization that aligns with your passions, or express your creativity through art, music, or writing. Let your unique brilliance dazzle the world. Overall, dear Libra, June is your invitation to dance through life with confidence and joy. Let the rhythm guide you to exciting opportunities and joyous connections. Trust your intuition and let the dance of life guide you.
That's groovy, baby, yeah. So dumb. Well, let's get right into stories while enjoying my morning cup of brew.
Oh, what are you going to enjoy today?
There's no way I remembered what you told me. It's strawberry lemonade with pea flour.
Oh, delicious. I believe somebody actually recommended putting lemonade and pea flour together.
Did they?
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, wow. That's dangerous.
Delicious, isn't it?
Yes.
Perfect. For any listeners wanting to follow along, all story links are in the description below. For our first story, am I the a-hole for telling my mother-in-law that she's not allowed to meet our kids anymore? Using a burner account and fake names. My husband and I have 2, 5 female and 8 male children. After a very traumatic birth with my elder one, I decided that I'm not ready to go through that again, but we still wanted more children. So 5 years ago, we adopted. My mother-in-law cares for our family, but she makes her preference for Malcolm is more than clear. To begin, she was absolutely furious that I would not be having another biological child and was instantly disapproving. After hearing we were going to adopt a child, her anger turned into rage. She screamed about how we didn't know the parentage of the child and might end up bringing in someone who would disgrace her lineage. My husband was able to calm her down. Thankfully, when she saw little Julia, it seemed like this was all behind us. Yesterday, mother-in-law decided to visit us. My husband was away on a trip, so she was just helping around. I was extremely exhausted, so I asked if I could go down for a nap, and she was more than agreeing. After a few hours, she woke me up and informed me that she was about to leave. All was good. I was cooking in the kitchen, and all of a sudden, I hear a loud bang preceded with a crying Julia. When I rushed into the hall, I see Malcolm towering over her. "You're not real. All of this is mine," he started screaming, which was incredibly confusing to say the least. After calming them down, I asked Malcolm what he meant. He then revealed that Grandma Muriel had told him that he was Mommy and Daddy's real son. This made me incredibly mad. I asked him what else Grandma had told him, and he told me all about how she had been telling him that Julia wasn't really his sister and how he should be extra attention for being extra special, how he's always going to be Grandma's favorite grandson, and so much more. Blinded with rage, I blocked Muriel on everything after sending her a text detailing her actions and how this was absolutely unacceptable and how she'd never be seeing her grandkids until they're much older and understand the situation so they wouldn't be swayed by her words. I probably overreacted, to be fair. She is quite an old lady. After he returned, we got into quite the argument to say the least, my husband disagreed. He adores his mother and told me that stopping her from seeing the kids is inhumane. She's simply old-fashioned and she didn't know her words would bring this big of an impact or some such. We will be having a civil discussion about this later. Edit. I'm sorry I didn't clarify this earlier, but both Julia and Malcolm know that she is adopted. I've had the conversation with both the children, although I have had it separately with the both of them. I think I might have to have this discussion once again and make sure Julie knows that it doesn't matter whether she's adopted or not. Am I the a-hole?
Well, we're kicking Monday off with a spasm with bow.
Right on the get-go.
Yeah. So for clarification, she sucks. Like, your mother-in-law in this situation is terrible. And so is your husband to an extent if he found that okay and pleaded it away by saying she's old. No. I have met plenty of kind older people. You justifying it like that is not okay. To say that she didn't know what she was saying when she said it, also not okay. There is no way in my mind that that woman didn't know what she was doing. That sucks for the children. So how old are the kids? Malcolm is the oldest, right?
Yes, and he's 8.
He's
and
8.
Julia, which is the adopted little girl, is 5.
Okay. So everything's going well. Obviously, as you said, Malcolm knows that his 5-year-old sister is adopted. But up until this point, everything sounds like it's been going well between them. Mother-in-law steps in on one visit to, I guess, watch the kids while she takes a nap, while mother takes a nap.
Correct.
Okay.
Or at least this incident started then.
Yeah. So the mother-in-law proceeds on this babysitting escapade to tell her grandson that he is the real child of theirs and he should be showered with attention and love more than the adopted child.
Yes, because he's extra special.
That is heinous. So OP is asking if she's the a-hole for her reaction.
Correct.
No, absolutely not. You are not the a-hole. Sometimes people can get a little too carried away with how they do react to a situation, but I don't think this was unwarranted. She's sowing the seeds for a terrible relationship between those children. I don't care how old you are or what generation you're from. That's bad. And your husband needs to take a step back and really digest what happened. Stay with what you thought. Protect your kids, because it sounds like your husband really doesn't care. And your mother-in-law really isn't a good influence on those kids. So I would probably keep them away from her as long as I could till they come of age, and you say it yourself, till you can actually explain things properly, because they're not getting the right information from the mother-in-law. So yeah, you're definitely not the a-hole, OP.
Well, the consensus is that she is not the a-hole. And they say keep on protecting her kids the way that it is. At this moment, the way that the whole situation is, it's almost like her son, Malcolm, is being taught that his sister is just a second-class citizen at best. Now, the OP actually provided a lot of insight into her comments, but let me go ahead and just provide one specific one that I think really stuck out to me, in which a commenter asked her if there's been any type of update regarding her and her husband. She said, "Yes, thankfully, I have a little bit of a victory. A few conversations after, I convinced him mother-in-law is not going to have prolonged contact with either child here on out. I've started looking at a few counselors for the kids, and after reading some replies, I think he's starting to see the dangers his actions could lead to. He actually went and talked to Malcolm about his actions and told Julia how much he loved her. I could see in the way he hugged her that the fear set in. I was there the entire time just in case, but that gave me hope. I talked to him a little about how I didn't like how he defaulted to trusting that I was the liar. I'm not sure about the rules of updating a post, so basically mother-in-law concocted a lie about how I blocked her due to a misunderstanding, making it seem like I had overreacted, which is why my husband reacted the way he did. But that's probably going to take a bit more work. I think we will need marriage counseling, but apart from that, the situation might just turn out okay."
You know what? At least he's willing to see past the lies. She's right. It's going to take some time and maybe a little bit of counseling, because it sounds like that man's mother has had her claws dug in real deep for a long time.
It sounds like it.
Whew.
If anything, our poster was very honest and said she might actually provide an update later on down the line, but more than likely not, as this is a burner account and she does plan to delete it.
It sounds like they're at least moving in the right direction. Good for you, OP. Thank goodness your husband's seeing reason, and he sounds like he loves those kids. That's more than a lot of kids get.
That's
they
very
got
true.
2 parents that care. That's a great start.
So let's go to our next story and see what's happening at the pool, shall we?
Ooh.
Am I the a-hole for splashing women with water at the pool?
Let me in on this ride.
Swimming is my female 31 hobby and how I keep healthy. My favorite swimming pool is local university pool. As a graduate, I have access, but they also have community hours when people from town can pay and swim. It doesn't do lane swimming, but typically everyone knows to stay away from those doing laps. I was doing laps at the far end with the pool wall on my side, so I couldn't move if I wanted to. I was mid-session when two women my age jumped right in front of me and just stood there by the wall on the shallow end. I couldn't stop in time and pushed from the wall between them, forcing them to move aside. I was being more careful next lap, but they just kept standing there. There was plenty of space on the other side of the pool where they could stand and chat without bothering anyone, but they chose to stand right in front of me. So I continued swimming, pushing from the wall. If they refused to move, I just turned in water, making sure to make a big splash. I took a break to drink some water, and one of them started screaming at me and how I got her hair all wet. Told her that it's her fault and continued swimming. She waited for me in the changing rooms and went on about how I was inconsiderate and ruined her hair. I told her to fuck off. She started going off at me and started screaming, calling me an a-hole and a bitch. I grabbed my stuff and went to one of the cubicles to have a shower and change. When I was leaving, they were talking to the manager. One of them was crying about her hair. I told my sister and she thinks I was an a-hole, but I didn't think so before. Now, with my sister agreeing, I worry that I might have been. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Just to add, I was the only person there when they came in. They had the whole pool to stand. They chose to purposely stand in front of me without swimming at all. Edit 2. The pool is 25 meters long and you swim lengthwise from deep to shallow end and back. They had the whole shallow end wall free except for the meter or so I used for kickoff. I didn't take the whole shallow end. Who would do laps there except for kids? Edit 3. While there's no designated lap lanes, lap swimming isn't forbidden. Typically during open swim, 75% of swimmers do lap swimming. Edit 4. They weren't older ladies. They were about my age, early 30s. Edit 5. I didn't leave the pool to grab water. I had water on the edge along with my other stuff for drills or my earplugs, etc. This is perfectly normal and acceptable.
Wow, it sounds like people had a lot of questions. 5 edits.
I figured I would go ahead and put it all in.
Well, good for her for clarifying it for everybody. All right, so she kind of paints the picture for us. She's doing her routine. Good for her, by the way. Swimming is great for you. So she's doing her laps. She's the only one in the pool right now. And then 2 women about her age come in and jump in on the shallow end. And they get right in her lane, is what she's saying. They have the width of the pool on either side, and they choose to, and what I'm assuming is, in her story, she says she has her water and some of her items with her next to the pool.
Correct.
So where she's kicking off, I'm willing to bet that her water and her things are right there. So they chose to get in this pool and stand right next to those things, even though they know she's screaming down this lane, going back and forth. No one else is there. She made it very clear. So my question would be why they chose to get in the pool and stand right there, other than because they're giant a-holes.
I was going to say they wanted war, but yeah, probably that.
Yeah, they woke up wanting violence that day.
Yeah.
And they got it. You know, I'm going to say it. I guess maybe I lean a little more towards everyone's the a-hole in the situation because she knew what she was doing as well. She was making a point. She kicked that water up. I think it's hilarious, though. I mean, in my head, especially when you're talking about, I guess this would be like sporting etiquette. You make sure runners are on the left. You pass on your left. That's how it works.
Hey, that reminds me of Captain America when he goes on your left.
Exactly. She said there's not dedicated lanes, so that's also an issue. And maybe I understand that when these women popped in this pool, that they looked at it and went, I can be anywhere. Because technically you can. You don't own the pool. You can't make the invisible lane. Now to a person that has any type of etiquette, they probably wouldn't have jumped in and sat right in front of your things and made it harder for you. So that sucks that they are completely being buttholes about it. Yeah, I'm going to lean to the fact that I think they're both a-holes. But I also would like to say I kind of believe that she's not the a-hole because I am going back and forth on it because I'm telling you, if someone did that to me, I would kick up so much water. Like, you have the entirety of this pool. Why are you picking right in front of me when I'm trying to swim? I don't own the pool. I understand that. But like, you could have had a little bit of courtesy. I'm not asking for a whole lot. Just stay out of my lane.
Well, let me go ahead and give you what the consensus is.
I look forward to hearing this.
So it looks like it was a mashup between not the a-hole and everyone's sexier, but a majority leaned towards not the a-hole.
Okay.
And a lot of it comes down to just etiquette. So some people said she should have used her words. Rather than go ahead and kick out the water, she could have just stopped and said, hey, can you move? I'm doing my stuff here. And then if they proceeded to ignore her, then at that point, you have every
pumps.
every right to splash up some water. Now, here comes the other side of the coin. If they were the only ones in the pool, it would have been clear what she's doing.
Sure.
And even for people who don't know pool etiquette, you would definitely see if somebody's using that space, you would move.
Yeah, why would you jump right in the lane? Like,
to also wait for her in the changing room just shows that they were just up to no good at all.
Sure. That's a whole other issue. I didn't even cover that, but that's kind of scary that you guys would push beyond that.
And then on top of that, if you're in a pool, your hair is going to get wet.
You go in there understanding that that's a risk you run.
Because
but
it's a pool.
Apparently not.
Personally, I just don't understand that part. But a lot of the reasons why the other party got dictated as the a-holes is mainly because of their behavior. Well, unfortunately, at the pool wasn't so much fun, but let's see what's going on with this Mother's Day. For our next story. Am I the a-hole for forgetting what I did for my husband for Father's Day last year? My husband, 38 male, and I, 36 female, have been married for 10 years and have 3 kids, 8, 6, and 3. Yesterday was Mother's Day, and my husband is notoriously bad at gift giving and that sort of thing. I have rather specific taste, so I pretty much have to coach him on what I want for birthdays, Christmas, anniversary, etc. But to my surprise, yesterday he actually did a pretty good job. He had the kids all make me handmade cards, made me breakfast in bed, and took the kids out of the house for the afternoon so I could get a mani-pedi and relax, and got me a nice bottle of wine with some fancy cheese and chocolate. Last night, after the kids went to bed, I thanked him for a great day and expressed how surprised I was that he actually stepped up. He told me I deserve it, and also said that he hopes that I can do something similar for him for Father's Day this year. I asked him what that's supposed to mean, and he asked me if I remember what I did for Father's Day last year, but I couldn't remember. He then reminded me that I did nothing for him for Father's Day last year. Then I remembered that for Father's Day last year, I was at my sister's wedding. My younger sister had a small out-of-state child-free wedding last June, which happened to be on Father's Day weekend. I was the maid of honor, and since our kids couldn't come, my husband stayed home with them while I was gone from Thursday to Sunday. I had every intention of still doing something for him for Father's Day, but I must have completely forgotten, and he never brought it up to me. So I felt a little blindsided and put on the spot when he asked me to remember what I did. I told him that I'm sorry I forgot to do anything for him last year, but that I don't appreciate being put on the spot like that. I also don't appreciate the implication that I purposely forgot or did nothing for him on purpose. I had a lot of things going on at that time last year, and I fully admit that I spaced it out and completely forgot. That's my fault, and I accept it, but don't rub my face in it. I asked him why he didn't just bring it up to me, and he said it's not his responsibility to remind me about that sort of thing. He said he didn't bring it up because he figured I would just get defensive about it and try to make excuses, exactly like I was doing right then. He then reminded me that I also quote-unquote forgot to get him anything for his birthday last year. I told him that I didn't forget. His gift was just delivered late. He then told me that he has access to our Prime account too, and he saw that I didn't even order it until the day of his birthday. I told him he was being a jerk and ruining what was, up until then, a perfectly good Mother's Day. He said he's not trying to be a jerk. He's just letting me know that he needs to feel that there is some reciprocation of these kind of things. Now I feel like he only stepped up so he could rub it in my face that I didn't do anything for him last year. Am I the a-hole?
Wow. Spicy meatball. Again. This one's bad because you can kind of see the dynamics in their relationship straight being on display and a lot of passive aggressiveness. Like, holding on to things and not talking about them. That's really unhealthy. You guys have been married for 10 years. You've got 3 kids. Why are we lacking on the communication part? That's key to all of this because it sounds like stuff is boiling over now. Definitely go get into some couple therapy, learn how to talk to each other again because it sounds like somewhere along the way that got lost in the sauce. So it sounds like Opie's husband puts together an amazing Mother's Day for her. Takes the kids out so she can relax. Wine, chocolate, a mani-pedi. Like the day is set. Now it's interesting when he brings it up. Obviously, probably not the best time to do it on the day because there was another 364 days to talk about the hurt that he obviously got put through because it sounds like he's not feeling the same type of love from her that he's giving.
You're correct with that analysis.
That's very dangerous in relationships. That'll end it quicker than anything. If the level of love isn't matched, it's hard. I think another thing that's very interesting is he says, when she does confront him and go, why are you bringing this up on Mother's Day? He says, because I knew you would act like this. If I brought it up when it happened, you would make excuses and combat me and make it about you and not about what you did to me. And that is really, really bad when people can't take accountability and ownership for their mistakes. Even though she says it in her thing, I take accountability and ownership. But
she still tries to twist it on him.
Yep. And that's where I'm like, you actually don't. You made it about you. You're the victim. And the fact that he called you out and then had to show you like, you bought my birthday gift on my birthday. You aren't putting the same amount of thought into him as the way he is to you. And that hurts.
Even though she says that he's really bad at gift giving and explains that she has to coach him.
I mean, the entire time she's dunking on him from start to finish. I didn't hear one nice thing about him outside of the Mother's Day gift. That's it. So I would wonder where your guys' relationship is at when you're basically talking about him like a child. I hope you can see through your writing that you've dropped the ball a lot as well. If you both are holding on to every little slight that happens and not talking about it, of course it's going to get unhealthy.
Well, all of the commenters came down on this poster, and she is definitely the a-hole. Now, a lot of people equated how her appreciation of Mother's Day is essentially like saying you finally did something right for a change.
Yeah.
And that was the entire gist of the post that she put out. And it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. The fact that he didn't feel comfortable to even bring up that she had forgotten Father's Day because he knew she would get defensive speaks volumes to their communication. It only being just one way, which is just him getting the brunt of whatever he does wrong.
Yep.
And then on top of that, when she does try and combat that off, he actually says, look, I even know about what you did for my birthday. And I think in this one, his thought was maybe trying to make Mother's Day really special would show that he's trying, and that if he asked her for her to try, because it kind of would edge out the
sting of everything that's already happened.
Correct.
Kind of re-kicking off the romance and setting things right.
But the moment that she became combative and would instead saying, I'm so sorry, I promise I'll do something extra special, she goes, I'm so sorry, but honestly, you're rubbing it in and I hate it. And
well, she's sorry, but she's not sorry. She still doesn't believe she did anything wrong.
I guess,
that's the issue. In her core, she doesn't believe it was wrong. She's like, I was busy. How could I? No, stop. You could have definitely done things. Even if you weren't there, you still could have had anything prepared for him on that day. It doesn't really...
Or even anything after that day.
And that's where I'm like...
I think another issue here is rather than just admit that she forgot his birthday, she couldn't just tell him, I'm so sorry, but let me go ahead and make this extra special.
Could you imagine that hurt, though? You've been together that long,
and
right?
Then somebody forgets your birthday.
3 kids together.
You know, Facebook always lets you know. You probably have family members that talk about it.
I just know that if it's your partner that you've had that much time and children with, you probably shouldn't be forgetting the day of their birthday. And I can understand where that would hurt.
Well, okay. Let's go ahead and just step away from romantic relationships.
Okay.
And let's go into a friendship instead. For our next story, am I the a-hole for not being upset that my friend's dog could die because of me? I was hosting a big garden party at the weekend. I invited my entire friend group plus their partners. One of my friends takes her dog everywhere. I told her, No pets were allowed, although it was a garden party we were in, and out of my home, I have 4 cats. My cats do not like dogs, and neither do I. Anyway, my friend showed up with her dog. I told her that her dog was not welcome in my home or garden, and asked her to please take her dog home or elsewhere. I thought my friend left. I went inside to sort some things out. I went into my garden about 15 minutes later, and my friend was standing there in my garden talking to her friends. She doesn't live that close, so I was confused. I went to ask her how she got back so quickly. She told me she just popped in and was going since her dog isn't welcome. I asked her where her dog is, and she shrugged her shoulders and said he was around. I went looking and found him at the bottom of the garden eating my crops and making a mess. I was angry and told my friend to get her dog off of my property. A few hours later, she called me asking me what her dog ate. I had no clue. My gardener plants and attends everything. I told her I didn't know, but told her he'd made a huge mess, dug things up, and clearly eaten things. She shouted at me that her dog is sick and that I need to find out what the dog ate. I told her I had no idea, but I texted my gardener to ask, but it was really her problem. I did send the text, but my gardener didn't answer. My friend called again wanting to know what her dog ate, but I told her I still didn't know. She told me I obviously don't care if her dog dies and called me an a-hole. I still don't know what her dog ate, but apparently he is very sick and might die. I feel bad, but I told her not to bring her dog on my property so I don't feel responsible like she says I am. Am I the a-hole? Edited to add, after being unable to reach my gardener, I took pictures of everything the dog dug up, which was a lot, and sent them to my friend, but I have no idea what it ate and what it just dug up. And for all I know, what it ate isn't even pictured because the whole section is a mess. This wasn't good enough for her. She wants me to tell her exactly what it ate, and I just don't know and don't want to spend hours trying to figure out when I don't even know if it can be figured out. Edited to add too, my cats are house cats. They don't go in my garden and aren't at risk of getting sick from whatever my gardener is growing. My garden is huge and what is growing changes often, so no, I don't keep track of what is planted. Am I the a-hole?
I guess I hope that there was an update and that dog in question is okay, but I guess we'll start with this. Definitely, OP, you're not the a-hole. I wouldn't consider that person a friend. You had a party. You told her explicitly, don't bring that dog. And what did she do? She brought the dog. You meet her at, it sounds like, outside. You tell her when you see her with said dog, please leave. You handled it straight on. And then she proceeds to, I guess, let the dog do its own thing around your garden when you told her he's not allowed in my garden or in my home. The cats being in this story has nothing to do with that. I don't even know why that would even have been in question. She said, I don't want your dog here. That's enough. There shouldn't be another reason around it. That's her home. End of story.
So can I give you my take on this? I feel that when our poster told her her dog's not allowed to be on there, her friend is like, all right, I'll just pop in and I'll just let my dog do whatever it wants to ruin your stuff because you ruined my day.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I get from this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But unfortunately, it sounds like
the dog paid for it.
Exactly.
What? So, OP, you're definitely not the a-hole. I would not consider this a friend. I am sorry that the dog is sick. I hope that the dog makes it through and you have a better update. And if it does, I would definitely think about no longer being involved with that friend because she went against your wishes and then it caused the harm of an animal because she did. I definitely think you're not the a-hole, OP. Sounds like you need to find a new friend.
All right. Let me go ahead and give you the consensus. The poster is not the a-hole. In fact, we do have an update, but I was keeping tight-lipped about it.
Yeah, I was worried the entire time.
For the update, our poster says, I blocked ex-friend after dozens of nasty calls and texts, but I got an update from a mutual friend. The dog is at a dog hospital. Dog is pretty sick, but is expected to make a full recovery. I managed to contact my gardener eventually. It looks like the dog ate some potatoes or something. A lot was destroyed, so even my gardener isn't 100% sure what was eaten, but he thinks maybe the pesticides were the problem. All info from gardener was passed to ex-friend. Ex-friend has seen this post and is very angry about it. Everyone say hi to Susan.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, Susan.
Next time, don't be a wiener jacket. Or if you are, leave the dog at home.
I can second that.
Jeez.
We're going to walk away from this garden party. And let's go to our next stop on the bus. Am I the a-hole for taking up 2 seats on a bus? I ride the bus because I can't afford a car, insurance, gas, etc. I'm 19 female and live in the US for context. A couple days ago, I was on a bus that wasn't that busy. Not empty, but there were multiple unused seats, and no one had to stand. I had just gone shopping and had heavy bags that were hard to carry and hardly fit in front of my legs. So I sat in one seat and placed my bags on the seat next to me, essentially taking up 2 seats on my own. Since it wasn't crowded when I got on, I didn't see an issue, and like I said, the bags were super heavy and hurt to carry, so I wanted to set them down. The bus ride was kind of long, and as it went on, more and more people got on the bus. It eventually got pretty crowded to the point where some people had to stand up. I didn't ever move my bag or offer the seat to anyone. In my experience, most people don't want to sit next to strangers anyway, and a lot of the time people will end up standing instead of sitting in an empty seat next to someone they don't know. Also, no one said anything to me. At the last stop, ended at the bus station where pretty much everyone was getting off, someone passive-aggressively told me, "You could have moved your bag and not been inconsiderate and rude. Everyone wants to sit, not just you." Or something along those lines. I didn't really respond because I didn't know what to say. The person who said that never asked me to move my stuff, and if they did, I probably would have. So I don't understand how I was being rude. They could have asked during the ride instead of insulting me after it was already done. Buses are also generally first come, first serve, so I think my behavior was normal. Am I the a-hole?
I hope you can hear your tone when you write, because it already speaks volumes. You're a 19-year-old, I think is what you said. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. You're a child. You're going to learn world etiquette, though, as you get older. I guess you got taught a good lesson. I can't believe you said it's first come, first serve, so I'm allowed to just splay out wherever I'm at and not be concerned about anything else. Those people are the worst. Read the room. Like, she even says it in this. It's a long bus ride. The majority of the people all get dropped off at the very end. That's what she says. So what did you do? You let a bunch of people stand around you while you had your bags in the seat next to you. What? How inconsiderate are you? That's selfish to another degree. Like, yes, all right, fine. They definitely could have asked you, but with good etiquette, you would understand that no, not everyone wants to sit for however long that bus ride is, because I'm assuming she says it's a fairly long one. And bus rides, when you talk about that, you're talking from anywhere from maybe an hour or 2 for some people who have to commute. Especially in America, our systems weren't made the way a lot of other countries are. Public transportation here sucks.
It's awful.
It wasn't made for that. We're trying to get better, but that's only in like certain cities and it's not everywhere. So I don't know where OP's from, but I gotta assume we're talking anywhere at least about 45 minutes maybe. If you didn't want to stand and hold your bags for 45 minutes, why do you think a stranger would? You're inconsiderate. I hope you learn the lesson. You are young, so please take it in stride. I hope that people didn't just straight up attack you, but I'm betting they did. Understand that the world doesn't just revolve around you, and you definitely shouldn't just assume that people would rather just stand in a long drive than sit next to a stranger. That's what public transportation is. We're all strangers. But you know what? It helps to be kind. Everyone in that situation is on the same grind as you. I can't understand why you wouldn't extend that kindness to someone else. Take the lesson. You're definitely the a-hole.
Well, let me go ahead and just let you know the consensus. And everybody definitely said that she is the a-hole. In fact, there were a few that said not the a-hole only because
someone could have asked.
Correct.
Come on with that.
On top of that, it's more of just like it's their business, whatever they want to do. A lot of people tends to be the hands-off ones. Well, let me go ahead and let OP know, just in case she should ever run across this video. But etiquette starts with you as a person first. Kindness generally is very rare in the world, and etiquette is just a nice way of saying that you have manners and are kind on top of that. By splaying your stuff out and not moving it and expecting someone to ask you shows you were never going to be considerate of anybody else aside from yourself to begin with. As a person who has etiquette and is considerate will go ahead and ask if anybody would like to sit down, would go ahead and move their stuff. I know inside of her comments to other commenters, she actually puts down how, I guess, difficult it would be to move her bags. To me, it's just another excuse. Yep. And the fact that you would even say that people don't like to sit next to other people, if there's enough room, of course, people are going to choose not to sit next to others to provide them their own spaces. That's proper etiquette. But when things start getting crowded, it's also understood that those seats are there for people to sit on.
Yep.
Not for you to sit your stuff on. That's why they're shaped like a butt.
Yep.
Another person said, you have a pass for your one seat. That is what you're taking up on the bus. Otherwise, as a person, essentially, your one pass could be for you to take up the entire bus, and that's not what that's there for. I know some people were saying how you beep the card twice to take up multiple seats, and she was trying to combat it with, I have a 6-month pass, unlimited passes, and it kind of just seemed like she wasn't getting it.
Well, what it sounds like is she just wanted to post this to be told she was right.
Correct.
And like, I guess for a lot of people, especially when you're that young, you're never wrong in the situation. Like that's where a lot of them handle their life because they don't have that experience yet. But you're definitely the a-hole. Stop trying to fight that. Just accept that that's what you did. Be better the next time.
Well, it looks like the bus has stopped and it's time for us to get off at our last story. Am I the a-hole for not making child-inclusive plans that someone in my friend group can't attend? Howdy, guys.
Howdy.
Recently, my friend group has been divided on an issue. I have a group of 6 friends and their significant others from high school. All of us are in our mid-20s. The only person in our friend group is Jessica, who has 2 young children and is a single mom. I'm the only person in my friend group that can host, as my husband and I own a decent-sized house and don't have anything stopping us from hosting, I guess. One doesn't want to host, 2 live with their parents and can't, another has roommates that won't let them, etc. We all live in a rural area, so there isn't really anywhere to go for more than a quick dinner. So someone hosting is the only way we can all hang out, really. When I host, it's always later in the day, around 7 p.m.-ish. That's when most of us are off work. I also have a no children rule for my house, since my dog is afraid of children and I honestly don't like kids anyway. My nephew yanked my dog's tail several times, so now my dog growls at kids. I had a gathering last weekend, a dinner time barbecue. Everyone was invited, same rules as norm. Jessica asked if she could bring her kids because she can't afford a babysitter, and since both of their dads aren't involved at all. I said no, because of my dogs and also because I don't want her baby and toddler at my house. The last time she brought them, she kept trying to push them off on other people who didn't want to hold them so she could relax. Also, her toddler puked on my $5,000 white couch, which I had to replace. No, she didn't pay for it. Jessica blew up on me in the group chat and said that I always exclude her. I told her I'm not excluding her, I'm excluding kids. All kids. She's welcome to come if she finds someone to watch her kids. I also told her she's welcome to host. She kind of went on about how none of that is possible, and now she isn't talking to anyone. Our group is split. Half thinks it's my house, my rules. One said maybe if she screwed better guys, she'd be able to have a babysitter. And 2 think that I should just let her kids come. To be honest, if it was someone else, I would maybe cave. But I don't like Jessica that much, especially since she didn't pay for my replacement couch. Am I the a-hole for making child not friendly plans that someone in my friend group can't make it to? Edit. I got the couch professionally cleaned, and they couldn't get the very large stain out. Am I the a-hole?
This is a dastardly story of a really bad friend. And I'm
Which
I'm not talking about the one with the kids. Wow. This is severe. You're a terrible friend. And it honestly has nothing to do with the fact that you don't want kids at your home. It is her house. It is her rules. A couple of them said had she picked better partners that they would have babysitters. How nasty of a group of people are you? I don't get why you talk to a friend like that. And if you have a friend that talks to you like that, they're not your friend. You're foul. Because it sounds like your friend with the children, she's going through a rough spot. I hope that you guys are not her only friends. But it kind of sounds like it, so I feel bad for her. OP sounds like a real complainer, like any small inconvenience is the absolute worst thing ever. In my opinion, OP, you are definitely the giant douchel nozzle of this story.
Well, let me let you know what the consensus is for Redditors. So the consensus is everyone sucks here.
Okay.
And let me go ahead and break this down and read to you some comments and an update. Let me go ahead and start with the update. So our poster says, after reading all of your comments, I've realized that I'm tired of dealing with Jessica. I'm going to tell her she's no longer welcome at my home and ask her to pay for my couch. If she doesn't, then we can go to court about it. Another edit. You guys are really mad I like nice white couches, but I'll give further info. 1. I considered having the couch reupholstered, but the cost to have it shipped out, fixed, and shipped back cost over $5,000, so it was cheaper and easier to buy a new one. 2. Yes, I have a white couch and a dog. My dog knows not to go near the couch. I've had the couch for 2 years without incident. It was fine till Jessica's kids showed up. 3. I didn't invite Jessica and her kids. I said no kids are allowed, and she showed up with her kids while I was in the bathroom and set her kids down on the couch. Her kid then puked all over it. Now, let me go ahead and read a little insert into one of the reasons why that comment came in, the one that a lot of people felt left a bad taste in their mouth. So the poster said, Dave, which I guess is somebody from the friends group, kind of hates her because she cheated on his brother in high school. He's a pretty nice guy the vast majority of the time. He volunteers all the time, helps pretty much everyone move, etc. I like Dave a lot more than Jessica, so maybe I am biased. It was definitely an unkind comment, but not really wrong. Her kids' 2 fathers are both homeless drug addicts. Now, let me go ahead and read to you an essentially long comment from a commenter, but I think it kind of sums up everything fairly well in my opinion.
I really don't like OP.
A lot of people don't like OP. Someone said in the comments, I wouldn't want you as my friend. And this commenter said, me either. This friend group needs to split up. Honestly, I would have shit myself if someone let me know a couch that is being used by us all that accidentally got damaged by my child getting sick was $5,000 to replace. And I'm a 30-year-old homeowner myself. I'd probably throw up with the toddler too once I heard the price. LOL. That's the price of a used vehicle. I'd never step foot in that house again for fear of damaging something that's supposed to be used, like a couch, could be worth thousands. So I actually don't understand why Jessica wants to be there unless this is their only hangout time. None of them are even close to OP's money bracket, clearly given no one else can host.
Yep.
Pulling $5,000 out of nowhere is something a large majority could not do. OP also holds a cheating incident Jessica did in high school against her and admits to not being her friend, so that explains their treatment of her. However, Jessica sounds like a hot mess who pawns her kids off apparently, which is of course only mentioned in the comments after the fact, so I struggle a bit with thinking she's too terrible if she's wanted by at least half of the others that simply have no hosting spot available yet. OP clearly has a distaste for her, so I wonder what the split half in favor of Jessica would have to say about her. Then again, the half of her just may be very sympathetic, so her entitlement doesn't bother them. Either way, all these people sound like gossipy, judgy drama group that would be no fun to be around. OP has a nice house and an aggressive dog, so I understand their stance, but they're also clearly excluding only one person using the children as the excuse. They know she struggles as a single parent, and the kid issue is OP's get out of jail free card. She's not my friend. I've thought little of her since high school and I can't stand her, but it's totally only the kids who can't come. They know she doesn't have many people or much money in her corner. If OP's house is their main hangout spot the majority of the time, that really sucks for Jessica. I just bail and take the closest of us. I mean, if some of them are so willing to say that kind of stuff about Jessica behind her back while still hanging out with and messaging her, what would they say about me? Not a good look. I'm torn on everyone sucks here and not the a-hole, leaning more towards everyone sucks here. So here's where everything for me personally got rubbed the wrong way when it came to our poster. It is definitely her house and her rules. This incident did happen with the couch. You clearly know Jessica won't be able to pay.
But she's going to try to take her to court for it.
Exactly. And here's where everything really becomes like me licking an ashtray. That's the only way that I can equate it. She says that she's going to take her to court and she's definitely going to win because one of her uncles is a judge and she knows people. And then on top of that, she says whatever the verdict is, she's going to be fine with selling that debt off to a collector, and she'll get whatever money she can. And then at that point, it's just Jessica's problem. I think it's extremely petty and shows that our poster is a very nasty person.
Oh, she is.
If anything, yeah, you're not the a-hole for not wanting certain people into your house. That's your choice. But you kind of made this situation because you refused to just be a better person and say, you're not my friend and I'm not going to go ahead and fake it and then talk trash about you.
Was this the last story?
That was the last story.
Oh man, terrible way to end Monday. Awesome. Well, as our stories come to a close, don't forget, you see in the world what you carry in your heart.
If you have enjoyed listening to us read and talk about today's stories, please rate, subscribe, and turn on notifications for new content. We are regularly posting on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
As always, listeners, make sure you leave your opinions in the comments below. We always look forward to hearing them after a long day. And if you're in the US, we hope you're having a good Memorial Day. And remember, if you post it, maybe we'll see it on the internet.